All right. I welcome you all to today's discussion of the second day on the recently conducted mains. We'll be discussing specially today GS2 and GS3. Let's see how much we can cover in today's class. And we'll try to understand from a very holistic perspective regarding the challenges that you are going to face, okay? And also how you can produce a difference in your answers to fetch some more marks or extra marks, which will definitely determine a top rank in the final list of this exam. Whether UPSC or APSC doesn't matter, because the approach will be same, because we can see that the standard of the questions have been almost same with UPSC paper. All right. So let me share this paper, and this is GS3 paper. Now I would like to tell you one thing. Since I myself wrote the mains this time, in all the papers this marks distribution was not there. But when I teach, I always tell you that you need to address each and every part of the question. Even if this marks distribution is there or not, it doesn't matter. You need to address all the parts. Now that is where a lot of people face the challenge, and even they have faced the challenge this time also. Can you tell me how this problem appears while writing the exam? See, knowledge is something else, but writing during the exam is again a different challenge altogether. Why? I'll tell you. Suppose there were 5 GS papers this time, and also in UPSC there are 4 GS papers, including ethics, SC paper, and keeping it separate. Now, in this particular approach, in GS3 there was this marking distribution for each and every part of the question. For example, the first question was, what is fiscal deficit? What is the target of fiscal deficit as per the FRBM Act? What are their demands for having flexibility in FRBM fiscal deficit target in the recent post-COVID situation? And this is a 10 marker question. That means you need to address this question within 150 words. Now the challenge is, suppose if they would not have given this 4 plus 2 plus 4, okay, which they have not given in the other GS papers, a marking pattern to all GS3 te disable. Baki GS1 to marking distribution to nasile, kunoda question of GS2 to nasil, GS4 but GS5 to nasile. Okay, only GS3 a marking distribution to ase. Or baki ehon paper ase na ami sai lom, because each and every paper will discuss. Okay, now what is the challenge is that suppose a marking pattern to jodi nai aru apunaloke jodi aru tata space limit eta ase, there is a space limit. For 10 marker question they have given 2 pages. Okay, for 15 marker question they have given 4 pages. All right, now even a challenge I have also faced. This challenge I also faced while writing the mains. What happened? Because the marking pattern was not given in the earlier papers like GS2, for example, polity. We'll see that paper also today. So, hey, tat ki hoy, tat dhori log, yad dekhise last part of the question of equal distribution ase, to first part of the question to ase. What is fiscal deficit khudise? Are you getting it? Our last part of khudise is what are the demands for having flexibility in FRBM during the post-COVID situation. Now, a marking distribution jodi nidiye tetia hole apnaloke kuntu part of basic gurutto dibo ba dukhon page of bhitorot kuntu part of basic likhibo. There is always a tendency that you will address the first part in a broader manner and as compared to the later parts of the question. Are you getting it? Prothom part to hoday jeta deal koribo jay jikono candidate jodi a marking distribution na thake tetia ki hoy a dukhon page ekdom limited space is a question to ase upor tar remaining space of that page and the next page, that is the limited space you are getting. Now if the first part to discuss kote jodi apnar eta page gusi jay aru next part to gusi jay mur hoise ketman question jot marking distribution nasile, first part to deal kote I covered 1.5 page, the last part to karone I only had half of the page. Eta tar jodi marking distribution thake, jodi evaluator jodi mind up ba telok jodi set guideline di diyeche marking distribution, that was hidden, that was not present in the page or in the question paper. So that apnaloke prothom part jodi bahut besiও likhise, but you will get only marks out of 4. Bahut besi likhile 3 number pabo, right? later part of the 6 marks থাকে তাত যদি অকল 3টা পইণ্ট লিখে তাত কিমান পাব out of 6 maybe 1 or 2 marks so ultimately আপোনাৰ marks to কমি গল total marks in the answer okay so it is very important that আপোনালোকৰ mind to একদম calculative হ'ব লাগিব during the examination process আৰু এইবোৰ mind of নাহে because you are writing in a rush during your examination time period এক সেকেন্ড ভাবিবলৈ টাইম পোৱা নাই এবাৰ মেইনছত আপোনালোকে মই কথা যদি বিশ্বাস নকৰে আপোনালোকে যিকোনো ক্যান্ডিডেটছক খুলি ল'ব পাৰে এতিয়া আমাৰ ইয়াত মেইনছ লিখা ক্যান্ডিডেট নাই বাট তেওঁলোকে আকৌ লাহেকে জয়েন কৰিব okay but you will also find many people who have written mains earlier but you will actually know and you will learn from them or when you talk to them that what are the challenges that they have faced and what I'm talking about you will actually feel it we are going to organize these papers okay after the discussions are over we'll organize free of cost you can come here and write the papers as per the limited time and the limited space we'll organize accordingly as the APSC is conducted this time just to make you realize where you are standing right now what are the challenges and that is very important to know it before even you are starting to prepare for this exam getting it so amar tat jodi UPSC prelims kora sao June alaki time ase aru APSC prelims most probably ebar September ba October bhitor hoar chances ase so we have hardly 6 months of time with us 5 months jodi ami bhalke sao 5 to 6 months samoy ase jodi ami prelims preparation aru prelims preparation mane etu okol prelims nohoy we cover both prelims and mains jodi eta polity pahai aso to polity mains aspect buru cover hobo that in the polity classes getting it but ami logote olopman amar ki korim amar MCQ solve junto koriba lage daily basis hebur olop basically gurutto dibo laibo in the upcoming time period because right now the prelims is in front of us and not the mains all right so if we go ahead with this now this is a very easy question ami economics eta class korim that eta common topic hoy fiscal deficit what the FRBM to do fiscal responsibility budget management act junkhon amar central government e anisile so ekhon mainly this act came to set out the fiscal deficit and what is fiscal deficit sari number is set up so if you are not knowing the formula okay I mean eta protect to answer discuss kori na I will just see the approach okay I can also add what I have written in these answers all right so what is fiscal deficit prothom introduction to apni ekdom normal dibo pare je it is the net borrowing of the government and basically it talks about the internal borrowing not the external deficit external deficit reflects what balance of payment prices jono import export or net junto gap thake that reflects your balance of payment prices so you have to mention that internal word here that will show the more clarity of the concept of fiscal deficit of yours in the field of economics so apni have to define kori pele there is a formula fiscal deficit a formula as ami to pohim ei formula ta apni likhim jodi box banai diye visibility immediately is getting promoted in your answer so those will make the formula and draw a box I have done it okay you definitely will get 1 marks extra out of this 4 marks if you do not write that formula definitely you may not get that 1 mark extra so it is very important to write that formula okay then what I have done is that fiscal deficit of that formula or definition likhi dilu je net borrowing etu hol gol tar pisot I have added that how government is trying to meet the fiscal deficits I just added 2 points jodio khudha nai I am just adding because 4 marks is that apni okol definition or formula likhile 4 marks na pabo pare yes or no so I just added 2 points extra that how government is trying to meet the fiscal deficits through various forms of what borrowings or by releasing different forms of bonds by the government or even how government through RBI is borrowing a lot of money through different monetary operations all right so just put that in the example because you should always quote examples in your answers any topic jikono topic when you write examples when you quote examples definitely you'll get more marks as compared to someone else who will not write examples and that is what we'll see and we'll also try to interrelate between various topics tar bisot FRBM actor duta simple target asile okay 4% 0% 2% hegita apnalake likhibo pare aru hegita ami pohime aru this time economics class on amar smart book along with that ami Ramesh Singh cover korim entire Ramesh Singh will cover in the book in the class And as I told you, we'll also cover the NCERTs. I'll give you. On Monday, we are starting with polity. I will take the class. And I already told you that Monday, the first class will cover the NCERT of Indian Constitution at work. On that, we'll cover the entire NCERT along with notes. And that is how we'll see that how we need to study. আমি এখন কিতাবত আমি ইমোশনাল বন্ডিং ডেভেলপ কৰি with the book 10 দিন 20 দিন দি একো লাভ নাই, because our approach should be what to crack this exam. তো আমি হিমান মিনিমাম কৰিম, but our maximum output আহিব লাগে in our practice and thinking part, because if you are adopting that thinking approach, then only you can solve this type of mains papers. Okay, যত টাইম লিমিট আছে, rush এটা ফ্যাক্টর আছে, যত আপোনালোকে ভাবিবলে 1 সেকেন্ড সময় নাপায়, আৰু আপোনালোকৰ handwriting বেয়া হ'ব, visibility of your answers will be poor, your presentation will be poor, you will have to compromise on those things. So where you can gain, where you are writing maximum content and you are writing more than average content. Are you getting it? But obviously with the practice of writing, you can also produce a lot of what answers with best presentation. That is also important. Tar kane practice lagibo, okol pori thakile nohobo, hekane ami pohim kom practice basically kori. Okay, anyways, so this is, and then why are there demands for having flexibility in FRBM? Now suppose a question 2, the COVID situation or pisot in the post COVID situation, why there is a demand to FRBM fiscal deficit target to flexible koribole. Eta FRBM target to ki, suppose dhori lok the fiscal deficit government e kiman borrowing koribo paribo, suppose there is a target of 4% of the total GDP. The government jodi 100 taka GDP hoy, ta mane government e 4 taka loan loi pelai, internally loan loi pelai, government can do what? They can do the expenditure. Are you getting it? বুজি পাইছো ন? The fiscal deficit to ki hoy je government of kiman percent borrowing korise. Suppose FRBM actor mote government ok allow korise 4% government or jiman total GDP আছে 4% teloke loan loi pelai ba borrow kori pelai teloke khorcha koribo pare. So jodi GDP to 100 taka hoy tamane government e 4 taka loan nopore. But because of COVID situation, okay, what about the GDP? Why now? Suppose if you have a conceptual understanding of this particular topic, you don't have to remember anything. আর আমি ক্লাসবোৰ এনেকে যেতিয়া আমি কৰিম, suppose FRBM আপনি কনসেপ্টটো বুজি পাই গলে যে সরকারে লোন লব লগা হৈছে বা বড় কৰিব লগা হৈছে, এটা তাক কৈছে যে ফিস্ক্যাল ফ্লেক্সিবিলিটি কৰিব লগা হৈছে টার্গেটটো. Now just think from a normal layman perspective. Layman একদম আপনার ঘৰৰ পৰা আৰম্ভ কৰক যে আপনি আপনার ঘৰত লোন লব লগা সিচুৱেশন কেতিয়া হ'ব, যেতিয়া ক্যাশ ফ্লো ইজ ৰিডিউসিং. Yes or no? যেতিয়া ঘৰত ক্যাশ ফ্লো বা লিকুইড মানিটো নাই. First point is that এবোৰৰ কাৰণে মুখস্থ একো নালাগে. These are all common sense topics. Okay, এনেকে আপনি 10টা মান পইণ্ট লিখি দিব পাৰে. For example, what I wrote, ধাৰাধাৰ পইণ্টছ বোৰ আহে যেতিয়া আপনি ভাবি থাকে বস্তুবোৰ, when you read something and you think on it. Okay, for example, first of all, এটা মই লগে লগে ভাবিলো যে okay, cash flow কম হৈছে. এটা now you are not talking about only our home here. You are talking about our entire nation or entire country's economy, right? So entire country's economy maximum খৰচ কৰা pillars কেটা কোন কেটা হয়? One is household. কোভিডৰ কাৰণে লকডাউনৰ কাৰণে মানুহৰ জব লছ হৈছে, তো জব লছ হোৱাৰ কাৰণে ইনকাম কমিছে. এইবোৰ বস্তু কি একদম ৰকেট সায়েন্স নেকি? এইবোৰ নহয়, এইবোৰ আপোনালোকে নিজেও লিখিব পাৰিব. বাট যদি আপোনালোকে ভাবি থাকিব লগা হৈছে, then you are missing the trick of clearing this exam. So this point should come automatically in your mind the moment when you see the question. Okay, expenditure কোনে কৰে আমাৰ নেশনত? Household expenditure কিয় কমিছে? Because of lockdown, because of job loss, because of migration. Okay, so because of all this, the domestic demand of the houses have gone down. Secondly, supply cut down হৈ গৈছে because of lockdown. So supply match হোৱা নাই, তো তাৰ কাৰণে ইনফ্লেশন হ'ব. ইনফ্লেশন হলে কি হ'ব? ইনক্লুসিভ গ্ৰোথ নহব. So দুখীয়া মানুহখিনি এনেও হেতু পারচেজ কৰিব নোৱাৰিব, so তেওঁলোকৰ পইচাখিনিও মাৰ্কেটত আহা নাই. Thirdly, যদি ডিমান্ডে কমি যায় মানুহৰ মাজত, তো প্ৰাইভেট ইনভেস্টাৰ্সে ইনভেষ্টমেন্ট কৰিব নেকি সাপ্লাই বঢ়াবলৈ? নকৰে. So প্ৰাইভেট ইনভেস্টাৰ্সৰো লিকুইড ফ্লো কমি যাব. Fourthly, so গভৰ্নমেন্টৰ যিখিনি এক্সপেন্ডিচাৰ কৰে, okay, গভৰ্নমেন্টে দুই ধৰণৰ এক্সপেন্ডিচাৰ কৰে. আমি ইকনমিক্সত পঢ়িম বাজেটৰ আন্ডাৰত. There are two pillars. One is revenue expenditure, one is the what? Capital expenditure. Now capital expenditure is something which has to do with the liabilities and the assets of the government. Liability when it is developed, when government is taking some loan or giving some loan to someone. when government has to return something in terms of interest or in terms of the principal, so then it will be a capital expenditure. Or if government is developing some assets, then also it is what? It is increasing the asset or decreasing the liability of the government. So that is also capital expenditure. I mean, some details of Bujim in our economics classes, don't worry. So now government or what খরচ কৰিব লগা হৈছে maximum বস্তু এতিয়া government health basically খৰচ কৰিব লগা হৈছে government ক'ত কৰিছে খৰচ য'ত মানুহৰ health hospital beds নাই extra যেনেকৈ আমাৰ veterinary fieldত tent বনাই পেলাই তাত extra hospital care facilities launch কৰি দিছে সেইবোৰটো normal times of চৰকাৰে নকৰিলেও হ'ল হয় so government expenditure to deviate towards pharmaceutical and hospital and health right so these are all common points our government otherwise they could have utilized those money where in capital assets jo pa government return pale hoy ar return pale ki hol government or borrowings to kom hol soli kom hoy yes or no so these are particular demands okay logote market of recession there was an editorial in Hindu from where I wrote also point that right now due to impact of lockdown not only in India but in the entire global world the world is moving towards a globalization from the process of globalization because of which so why is globalization because we have seen so many Chinese goods banned by India launching what Atmanirbhar Abhiyan and trying to boost up Make in India trying to reduce the import bills and trying to promote the export bills which will be beneficial for India right so at this particular situation because of globalization demand is in the entire globe will it come down or not or else what about the FDI and FII coming from the outside world FDI FII but globalization of FDI or FII ahibo janu our dekhot obviously it will not come during the lockdown time period because the market is going down it is moving towards a recession okay so government so where is the entire responsibility coming now the entire responsibility to increase the liquid flow order cash flow in the market lies upon the government now government or iman khini cash flow bahai dibole they will also have to borrow so that borrow kora loge loge FRBM targets to flexible kora demand ahi jab at the same time government was also ami swata point already discuss kori at the same time government was also eta bhabak apni hetu time the government was also focusing on bailout packages like government has given 20 lakh crore rupees for MSME sector to boost up what the domestic manufacturing hub government has given lot of bailout packages to promote Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan government has even given so many granting aids to the states to look after their economies or state GDP due to the negative impact because of lockdown and closing of borders in the interstate trade in commerce. Because we global develop state level to because of lockdown and borders getting restricted. So interstate trade and commerce effect definitely so state bureau import export interstate trade or the state bureau economy loss so state bureau earning state GDP to impact so you see this that now a point from ready okay but these points come automatically when it comes when you are practicing getting it so এতিয়া ইয়াতে আছে 4 নম্বৰ অকল এটো পাৰ্টত আমি 7টা পইণ্ট ডিসকাস কৰিলো এতিয়া getting it so আৰু এইটা আপুনি ভাবিছে নেকি যে বহুত টাইম লাগিব এখিনি লিখিবলৈ না লাগে it will not take more than 8 minutes to write this answer you just write one line each for every point for each point are you getting it at a line likho you will get very good marks and underline the important keywords as simple as that দুখন পেজত ধুনিয়ে প্ৰথম পেজৰ 3/4 আপনি fiscal deficit কি লিখিলে তাৰপিছত borrowing formula লিখিলে box বনালে আৰু দুটা example দিলে যে how government is meeting the demand of fiscal deficit then you give the target duta point 2 mark ase tar precise then 3/4 page on the next page you write 7 points khatam then you give a conclusion also okay then you give a conclusion also that with the means of new schemes like Atmanirbhar Abhiyan and reforms in MSME sector through amending the MSME Development Act of 2006 government is trying to empower the citizens of the nation by creating job creators and not letting job seekers to fill the market, which will ultimately promote the demand and the supply in the market, which will ultimately help government reduce its fiscal deficit targets in the upcoming time period. But for the shorter time period, it is definitely a major role for the government to look after the fiscal deficit targets and make it flexible, because government has to pull the economy out of the recession, full stop. So that is the conclusion paragraph. All of soruke likhibo pare mane kole bahut ulai jai likhute iman na lage likhute apni kom mane kote moi kyo besi ke kom so that apnalok understanding to proper ho, but likhute iman nilikhu. Are you getting it? Now how this approach is coming, এটা a fiscal deficit maybe মই আৰু point to লিখিছিলো sake, because মোৰ jiban মন আছে মই 9টা point লিখিছিলো এটো, because it was the first answer and I just wrote it within 8 minutes. Are you getting it? I just wrote it within 8 minutes. Now when this can happen, this can only happen when you are regularly practicing. Yes or no? You have to admit this. Jodi apnaloke akon pori ase, suppose economics Ramesh Singh porise ki beleg institute notes porise, doesn't matter, but heito time ot 8 minute of a point eta apnar mind ot ahibo nahe, that is the most important thing. Otherwise knowledge jimane nathok kyo jodi hey 8 minute of a points kini nahe a question to karone, you will not get marks. Ar jodi apni bhabibo loga hoise a points gala likhibole, you will realize by yourself. Class of bohi থকা সময়টা আপনাকে রিয়েলাইজ কৰি থাকিব যে এইটো পয়েন্ট মোৰ আইছে নে নাই আহা মাইন্ডত, যদি নাই আহা তাৰ মানে কি আপোনাৰ এক্সট্ৰা টাইম গৈ আছে পয়েন্টস গলা ভাবিবলে, আৰু যেতিয়া আপুনি এক্সট্ৰা টাইম লৈছে this 8 minutes or 7 minutes can get converted to 10 minutes or 12 minutes, and if you are taking 10 to 12 minutes for this question, তাৰ মানে আপুনি বেলেগ এটা কোৱেশ্চনত কম্প্ৰমাইজ কৰিব লাগিব বা বেলেগ এটা কোৱেশ্চন আপুনি এৰি দিব লাগিব. Yes or no? So that cannot happen. You cannot afford that at any cost. And that is why thinking is more important, and that is why I always emphasize on thinking rather than simply studying the notes or the books. So thinking is a part of your practice, and after thinking you should write down the answers within 7 minutes. That is the target. Our main shock moi korisilu class ot, I even gave the students to write within 7 minutes. Okay? Aru amar jo staff college class hoise Assam Administrative Staff College Khanapara, that even I wrote answers with the students, just to show them that how you need to write. Even we'll do it in this class also, okay, in the upcoming time periods. All right, so that is how you approach a particular question. And when there is marking distribution, so you should equally, okay, write the parts of the answers. You should equitably address the parts of the answer as per the marking pattern, because then only you will get more marks. যদি আপনি প্রথম দুটা পার্টত ইমান লিখিলে যে লাস্ট পার্টত অকল 2 মার্ক দুটা পয়েন্ট লিখিব জায়গা থাকিলে, কারণ অকল সময় নহয় জায়গাও থাকিব লাগিব, কারণ আজিকালি লিমিটেড স্পেস এ নেক্সট পেজত তো আপনার সেকেন্ড কোশ্চেন আহি গৈছে, তার আপনি ফার্স্ট কোশ্চেনৰ আনসার লিখিব নোৱাৰে. সো ইউ হ্যাভ টু কিপ দ্যাট অলসো ইন ইউর মাইন্ড. ওকে, সো মাইন্ড তো অলপ ডাইনামিক্যালি চলাব লাগিব ডিউরিং দ্য এক্সামিনেশন টাইম পিরিয়ড. আর ইউ গেটিং ইট? সো দ্যাট ইজ ভেরি ইম্পর্টেন্ট. আর জিএস 3 খন তো সেকেন্ড হাফত হৈছিল, তাৰ আগত জিএস টো অলরেডি আপনি লিখি ললে, আৰু হাতখন বহুত বেছি বিখাব তেতিয়া. Okay, I personally carried a Volini also with me. Or exam of Pisot, when I was paying the Volini, there were 10 students coming and Mukul of Maridio, and I also like Telugu Volini Maridisu, because it will pain like anything, but it is only a temporary pain. I already said this before the exam to everyone. It is only a temporary pain. Those who will have experience of mains writing will know this, because you have to write 250 words in 3 hours. June mains likha nai teluke okol etialoke 100 mark likhise 3 ঘন্টা. Only 100 marks in 3 hours, and demand was never 4,000 words. You can go back and check your graduation exam papers. Getting it? So the speed, presentation, accuracy, points, content, thinking, structure, everything has to operate parallelly in your mind, and that is the challenge. Challenge is not to complete the syllabus or read the topics. वो तो हर कोई कर लेगा. That can be done by anyone. Okay, but you will see even in the market, you will see maximum people focusing on which part of the preparation? On the studies part. Very few people will address the practice part, and that is why 99% people fail in this exam, because majority of the people are focusing on what? On the studies aspect, not on the practice aspect. So those who will focus more on the practice aspect, you have better chance to crack. Moving ahead to the next topic এইটো topic আমাৰ এপত মেইনছৰ টপিকত ইকনমিক্সৰ আন্ডাৰত I had taken a lecture on infrastructure and investment. In fact আমাৰ নোটছতো গৈছে এইটো আকৌ পঢ়াম এইবোৰ ঠিক আছে আৰু সেই নোটছৰ পৰা এইটো ডাইৰেক্টলি কমন কোৱেশ্চন okay this particular আৰু first question to obviously commonly হয় for our economics of smart book আছে FRBM এক গুটেখিনি related ঠিক আছে second question to pros and cons and development of railway stations through joint ventures under public private partnership okay মই আপোনাক in fact দেখাব পাৰিলো যে এইটো আমাৰ কোড আছে anyways আপোনালোকে materials খিনি পাই যাব let's not waste time গীতাঞ্জলি কোৱা আমাৰ মেইনছৰ যিখিনি মেটেৰিয়েলছ আছে তাৰ পেন ড্ৰাইভত মোক ইমিডিয়েট দিব Okay, let's wait till the pen drive is here, okay, rather than checking the email. Email to pai golo hoy, but pen drive thale besi easy hobo, sonkale khulibole file keta. Right, anyways, let's move ahead. I'll show you, okay, our materials also. So, pros and cons of development of railway stations through joint ventures under public-private partnership model. What may be the possible reactions of the general public? 5 plus 5. Okay, so pratham question itself is having two parts, pros as well as cons of railway stations through joint ventures through PPP model. First part, that is, tamane apni ki korbo 2.5 pros, 2.5 cons. As simple as it. The 2.5 pabole kiman ta point likhibo lagibo? Tell me, 2.5 pabole kiman ta point likhibo lagibo? But see the next part of the question. What may be the possible reactions of general public? Etu jano ami cons kini pra derive kono nai points kini. Whatever the cons of having PPP model of railway station development, for example, right now what? So I started this answer by highlighting Vivek Debroy committee report recommendation, because I had also taught this during the mains classes. Vivek Debroy committee recommendation has suggested what? Joint venture, public-private partnership in railway to promote what? The efficiency. Now, for example, what are the pros of joint ventures? Immediately ahibole points bur bhabibole time nai je PPP model of joint venture in the railways will lead to what? So first introduction to bhabibole time nai, to I just highlighted that following Vivek Debroy's committee recommendation, public private partnership government has been investing or approaching in the railway sector. Immediately write the second line, some of the pros of having joint ventures in railway stations, okay, are discussed as follows. Point number 1, right? Started. Bhabibole time na, you have to come in that flow. Okay, first point. Suppose you are writing pros. Okay, what will be your first point? Efficiency of railway station will improve. Second point. What will be your second point? Price control. Okay, can be introduced because there will be many players, private players will also competing because of prices. Okay, which will promote inclusive growth. Additional point. Third point, okay, accidents and safety of people while traveling in railway stations will improve, for example. Okay, fourth point, better service delivery and better, for example, you can say better service delivery for people. For example, 100 bus, complete the point there itself. Okay, so every normal points are. Into what we are doing by writing normal points, we are saving time. You might think, if you visualize your website, toppers or answers side, you will find the answers are very normal. And then you get shocked at how do they get a top rank by writing this kind of normal answers. That is not the point, whether you are writing normal points or you are writing some, but Vivek Devar to প্ৰথমতে লিখি দিছো. So that shows I know something regarding this. For example, cons. Cons of a price control তাত লিখিলো. Okay? Prosot আৰু কেইটামান point লিখিছিলো. For example, efficiency, more number of trains will be introduced. So that কি হ'ব? Oh yes, এটা points বোৰ আহিছে. More number of trains হলে কি হ'ব? More and more people will travel. That will lead to decongestion in the roads, which will lead to reduce in road accidents and lead to reduce in premature deaths, which will promote demographic dividend in our country and boost up the GDP. Interlinking, khudai nahi, but still likhisu kyo? Because you are also showcasing your knowledge, and there is a pros of railway station getting efficient. When railway station efficient, public investment jiman ase to choli ase, private investment hoar logole ki hobo? Trains baribo na baribo? Definitely baribo. Stations puror capacity bari jabo aru beshi manu ahibo paribo. Etia railway station gole ki hoy? Bahut manu anytime packed up. Yes, but private investment ahi jor logole railway station pur dangor hoy jabo, more railway tracks bari jabo. Okay, so that obviously public, so hebu cons ahibo. So hebu private players or kane cons ki hobo je land acquisition will become a difficult, that environment clearance will come into the factor.
So how do we prioritize, like if there are certain general points which we can make through pros, for example, better sanitation, better services. So how do we prioritize? Because it's a 5 marks.
You will not have time to prioritize during the examination rush. So, okay. So you will have to write whatever is coming in your mind. But at the same time, that challenge is also very important. That challenge will face, everyone will face. Suppose at the first go, the important points are not coming in your mind. Will you wait for it or not? That is again a dilemma. That whether you will wait to rethink the answer. If you are rethinking, suppose you are wasting 30 seconds. Getting it? But if you are not doing that job of rethinking, if your points are not coming, then what will happen? You will write 4-5 points, space is already gone. You also have to address the cons as well as another 5 marks of general public's response. There is no space left. So now the dilemma is that, oh shit, I have better points to write, but I did not write better points in the earlier go. This will happen. This has happened with me also. Okay, that is why that the only rescue part will come here when you are thinking more. Because when, suppose if you are thinking for this particular question, if you are not writing Vivek Devar, if it is not coming in your mind, suppose it may not come in your mind. Suppose you wrote a different introduction, or you did not give an introduction, and while writing the answers, suppose you suddenly it comes in your mind, oh, Vivek Devar had given this recommendation. Now can you go back and change the introduction? You don't know. You cannot. Okay, that is why your thinking approach has to be done in the earlier part, not during the examination time. Because if you are thinking while writing, you are wasting time and you are compromising on other questions. Because you are taking more time. That is what I am telling. That is what I am trying to portray as a point, which is very important. What is the point? That the thinking aspect should be done during your preparation. It should be done before going and writing the exam, which many people fail to do that, and that is why you do not pass this exam. Okay, and that is what we will also do during our classes. We emphasize more on thinking and interlink. Janeke moi eta interlink korisu with privatization of railways and reduction of what? Road accidents and premature deaths and promoting demographic dividend. Promoting demographic dividend. Are you getting it? So this is the best thing when you are applying your mind to think on whatever, because demographic dividend is a question. GS3 there is a topic. Inclusive growth is a topic. But we are interrelating it. Why? How we are interrelating while writing the papers? Because we are. Giranjali, etu kuntu folder ase? Both folder ase. Oh, yes. Thank you. All right. So you see, there is a topic of infra. You got my point, right? So again, thinking part to hoda ami agot koribo lagibo. Practice to exam or agot. Getting it? যদি সচিন টেন্ডুলকাৰ কয় যে এটা বলাৰটোৱে যদি মোক ইয়ৰ্কাৰ দিব নে গুগলি দিব নে ইন সুইং দিব নে আউট সুইং দিব, এনি আৰু টেন্ডুলকাৰ যদি কয় যে ওকে বলটো দিয়ক, বাট ইফ মানে আমি যে ফোর্টে স্ট্যাচু খেলিছিলো, স্ট্যাচু এটা ৰখি যায়, ঠিক আছে, বলটো আহিলে এটা ৰখি গ'ল, তাৰপিছত টেন্ডুলকাৰ থিং ওকে দিস ইজ কামিং ইন সুইং, সো আই উইল হিট দ্য বল লাইক দিস. You don't have that. It's like that. Can you stop the time during the examination time period. No. So you do not have time to think. And so many students have also told me, I have also faced the same situation. Okay, so it will only come to rescue when you are already, your thinking part is already done before writing the exam. So which is missed by maximum people. What 2018 but you will not do it. You're getting it? You will think that this is wastage of time. But if you are actually thinking while you are studying, that will actually help, because points automatically will come. And when you are thinking earlier as compared to while writing the exam, important points in more thakibo. Like cons of, I wrote the first one as cartelization of price. Why? Because if 5 are written class, because cartelization hole ki hobo, amar jodi 5 private player aise, teloke decide kori dibo je okay, ami 10,000 dollar price set in koru. And that will, they will create a oligopoly, which will be controlled by only a few players. Teta ki hobo, teta cons of government or teta government and a vote bank politics or railway subsidies di pelai. Railway price will even come again because Indian Railways is in high debt like Indian Airlines. No, Kundu Australia company, Air India. Okay, or maybe like BSNL. Okay, so that is why Indian government is trying to bring privatization. So cartelization যদি control no hoy. So that was the first con that I wrote. Then the prices will shoot up and it will not promote inclusive growth. It will not be accessible for the poorest of the poor people, and then people will start taking a bus, and then again the road accidents may increase. So that same point you can write both in pros and as well as cons, because it is having both the perspectives. Second point you can write about that if there is an accident, okay, if there is an accident, and that is also mentioned in many of the committee recommendations, because the sharing of responsibility, the moment the sharing of responsibility comes to in the picture, okay, the accountability disappears. Okay, for example, now if there is an accident in a railway station, who is accountable to that accident? The government. The moment private players also enter, so there will be the blame game starting, and no one will be accountable, and no one will be ready to take the liability. Who will compensate the victims' families? Getting it? So I have written these cons. At the same time, so then, for example, next question part to say what may be the possible reactions of general public. Now you already got the points. So the price rise or general public or key hobo reaction, you can write that, right? Do the efficiency improve or the general public or response key hobo, you can write that. Getting it? So using those points, you can write another 5-6 points determining what will be the general public's opinion or rule. So that automatically points will come. But you'll also write 2 or 3 lines conclusion at the last. Okay, that conclusion আমি কোনটো সবথেকে important point ধরিম. For example, accountability and monitoring and responsibility, and government looking after that the prices should not be increased beyond a certain limit. Okay, and the prices should be set out in a progressive manner, like it is used in taxation. যেনেকে ধনী মানুহৰ পৰা বেছি tax লয়, দুখীয়া মানুহৰ পৰা কম tax লয়, right? So the same progressive pricing policy should be adopted while determining, and it should not be only made it like for the private players to determine the prices, otherwise cartelization over that. Okay, otherwise to general public opinion to increase because private players that hygiene, sanitation will improve. Okay, better quality service will be provided. All right, safety features will be also introduced. More and more trains will be introduced with what world class state of the art infrastructure. Okay, where you can even fast track trains will come in. Like Japan has to invest koribo bisari ase already. Okay, Gujarat, Ahmedabad, Mumbai already to establish hoi goise. So it can, so manual hetu point likho manual time kom hi jabo for traveling, people's efficiency will improve, that will be reflected in boosting of the GDP of the country. All these points, see kiman points we discuss korilu, more than 10-15 points around approximately. And you can write why these points are coming, because I have this practice of interlinking during my classes. So I am a living example in front of all of you. So if you can do the same thing, your mains will go really good. Okay, your mains will, and you will not have to suffer for your finding of points. Both students have said, sir, points will not heal mind. It's one question of card. Bhabote bahut time gusi gol, ifale tinta question ei dibo laga hol last time. Why that approach? Because they did not give time on thinking part before writing the exam. They thought, let's accumulate as much as knowledge we can and we'll write in the exam. But that will not happen. Apuni knowledge jimane 10 খন কিনা পঢ়ি যাওক এক্সাম হল মনত পৰিব নেকি? Okay, if you're not thinking before writing the exam. Getting it? For example, jodi ami yat sao see this is GS3 or mains materials yat eta ase infrastructure ase aru eta asile investment to thakibo lage okay investment to yat kyo banai asile etu okay I think I gave notes for investment okay dictation notes I gave so jodi ami infrastructure sao yat okay this is our GS3 infrastructure you see yat sao Indian Railways is a topic ase can you see this nahi ekita topic mo bisara nasil anyways there were some more notes that we had dictated that I had dictated tate gute khini asile yate nasile ekhini yate thakibo pare but we did not use this while teaching but these are all the editorials of newspapers okay these are all the editorials of newspaper anyways I'll show you by tomorrow okay I'll get the notes what I dictated in the classes and then we'll talk about in fact we even discuss about public private partnership investment models, its advantages, disadvantages, then hybrid annuity model, Swiss challenge model, tar ki advantage, disadvantages ase ami gutekhin discuss korisilu. Anyways, so let's move ahead with the next question. Moi kali aplok gutekhin dekhai dim, ekhini beleg notes hoy, so all of time lagibo bisarte, let's not waste time. Next, see, I had already said that the questions will come in a general format. So I hope you are able to realize the importance of interlinking, okay, in various questions. Third question, junto ase, ako yat eta distribution ase 5+5. What are the possible effects of large-scale hydroelectric projects in environment? Write a critical note on the possibilities of having medium and small scale projects in the place of large scale ones. 7 minutes are likhibo lage to answer. We need to write this answer only in 7 minutes. What will you do? Possible effects of large scale. So, okay, now there are 5+5 and they are asking possible effects of large scale hydroelectric projects in environment. Possible effects large scale hydroelectric projects environment. How will you approach this question? Very simple question. It would be easy question. At least for Assam, because we have seen the protests going on for Subansiri Dam by Krishak Mukti Sangram Samiti for so many years. Okay? Because what were the points? Suppose you have not read this topic. Can you still not attempt this question? You can definitely attempt. This is a very easy question. Are you getting it? This is a very, very easy question. So possible effects of large-scale hydroelectric projects in environment, pass mark ase, or write a critical note on the possibilities of having medium and small-scale projects. Okay, it's critical questions. Please highlight the word critical. Both positive and negative are likhibo lagibo.
We use damage to ecology.
Sorry?
We use damage to ecology.
Yes, definitely. Yes, that is a major point in this particular question.
The dam breaks, as we have seen in the case of China.
Yes.
The water stand collapsed.
Yes.
Big massive flood.
Yes, yeah, mainly in the downstream. Okay, so those points will come here. Large-scale hydroelectric projects and the possible effects which we try to discuss. First of the point is definitely coming. For example, now I don't have any ready-made notes. Okay, even I forgot what I have written. But let me check my mind. What are the points that is coming right now? First point that is coming is man-made or anthropogenic earthquake. Because when you are developing a large-scale hydroelectric project, okay, you have to storing a lot of volume, high amount of volume of water, and which is creating a man-made earthquake or anthropogenic earthquake. That is a possible impact. Now again, you see this possible effects of large-scale Fudise. Are they highlighting negative effects only? I have even written possible effect, positive impacts. Or yet Fudise in the environment. Oh, sorry, yet environment of Fudise. So environment of ki possible effects of. So that your positive impact ho pare niki. Because next point is critical note on possibilities of having medium and large scale, small scale projects in place of large scale ones. That a critical note je ami jodi large scale to dhori na jao, small scale dhoro tete ki hobo. Janeke amar I went back to the multi-purpose projects. First project launched during first 5-year plan, and which is your Bhakra Nangal project. okay, made on a Satluj river, and through which the Indira Gandhi Canal was developed, which and which utilized the irrigation facilities during Green Revolution first phase. Are you getting it? So is there not a positive impact of a large-scale multi-purpose dam? Because of it, we can critically analyze Green Revolution also because of its negative impacts, because of loss of soil fertility, or because of the various other things. Okay, but still there is a positive impact because of a multi-purpose project which is a bigger scale, Bhakra-Nangal Dam, first multi-purpose project built up during the first 5-year plan, and positive impact. So we may lose those things. At the same time, multi-purpose question because there are also other activities getting added up, like tourism promotion. You cannot promote in a small scale like a check-off or a run of them. Small dam for tourism promote, but you cannot promote, for example, boatings or for tourist people coming in those areas, or for example, you cannot promote fishing grounds in a high volume capacity. Okay, so multi-purpose project or headway, or maybe you cannot even produce that amount of electricity which is required. Okay, by creating check-off dams. But what are positive outcomes? By creating check-off dams, you will not create the impact that is because of the large-scale hydroelectric projects, which is made in a bigger scale. Because once, if there is an accident, not only because of earthquake, but if there is an accident or breakage or leakage, okay, or sudden release of water because of high dependence on the monsoon rainfall, and because of impact of El Nino and La Nina, especially during La Nina year, what happens? High amount of volume water comes inside, and then they have to release it, and there is a tremendous amount of flood. Okay, damaging the entire ecosystem, even damaging the salinity of the soil in the downstream areas. Okay, impacting the habitats of the animals, flora, fauna. Negative impact is falling on the environment. Okay, many species may get then even your tribal people, okay, getting dislocated. Okay, that is because tribal people are also balancing your nature. Okay, through their dependence on the nature. They are also part of the food cycle chain. If tribal people are dislocated because of a creation of a large hydroelectric project, so it will also impact the food cycle chain, which is also part of the environment. It might increase the toxicity level of the environment. Okay, it might even impact on the check and balance of the population of the species of different floras and faunas. Because suddenly a species jodi bari jay, a another species komi jabo pare. Okay, so all these impacts, sufficient points, possible critical analysis now. From where these points are coming, you don't need to read anything else. Okay, you just need to think. Maybe hydraulic positive is simple, common topic. Okay, you classroom discuss editorials, so any number of editorials are keep on coming. But how the classes are helping you, or how your thinking process is helping you, it is saving time in your examination. There are points. I have point ready at the back of your mind. And what I used to do, I'll show you my question papers. Point you might even forget it after 2 seconds also. So I used to write it down in just below the question itself. In short notes, for example, anthropogenic man-made earthquake. So AE, for example. Now, you don't have to write anthropogenic man-made earthquakes full form question or likhibo gole bahut time waste ho jabo. So just write in short. Jodi points ahi thake, keep on writing. Okay, keep on writing. And sociology more question paper khon pura notes ere bhoriye gol paper khon. Because tate thinkers ko likhibo lage. Okay, tate thinkers ko janeke tumhara question aise Gale Omved Dalit concept. Okay, so pahori jabo paro aru answer likhar samoyot how your mind is working even you will not know. Because your mind works at different capacity at different situations. Are you getting it? When you are angry, your behavior towards your loved ones is different, and when you are not angry, your behavior towards that same person is different. Yes or no? So is the mind not working differently at different situations? So in normal situation, when you are not in a rush, when you are calm and composed, your mind will act in a different manner. When you are rush, in a hurry, your mind will act in a different manner. So you need to control your mind, first of all. And the best sport I'll tell you to control your mind is what? Shooting. Okay? If you are into shooting, because shooting or you are controlling your breathing. Slight movement in the breathing, apnar aim to gusai dibo pare. Variation in the aim, in the target. Because if you do not, so when you are inhaling or exhaling, what time you are triggering, pulling the trigger will determine whether you are hitting the target or not, or your aim or not. Getting it? So, and you can control your mind only when you can control your breathing. But how many of, when did you realize your last breath? Tell me honestly. When did you realize your last breath? Now, don't tell me right now. Because that is your intention doing it, because I'm asking you to. Do you remember that, okay, that day, like, do you remember when did you realize your last breath? Then what you're doing in life? You're taking it for granted, but when you will be about to die, you just fight for a single breath. Isn't it? So live your life, try to control your mind, control your breathings, okay, and try to control your actions, okay? Then you will become a better person for definite reasons. Okay, try to focus on those aspects also, because interview is all about your personal development. Getting it? So during rush, how you perform, why that is being checked? তেওঁলোকে তো 10টা কোৱেশ্চন খুদিব পাৰিলে হয়, 100 মাৰ্কৰ পেপাৰ দিব পাৰিলে হয়, কিয় আৰু 100 মাৰ্ক কৰি 20টা কোৱেশ্চন দিছে? Because they want to check your personality, how you perform during a rush time. Because যেতিয়া কোভিড আহিব, যেতিয়া ডিজাস্টাৰ আহিব, তেতিয়া আপোনাৰ মানে because you will be controlling a district, you will be controlling a department. So during crisis situation, will you have sufficient amount of time to think? Or if you are joining the police forces, terrorist side like gator সম্মুখত ৰখি আছে, আপুনি ক'ব মোক টাইম লাগে ভাবিবলৈ কি কৰিব লাগে? You will not have time to think at that time period. You will have to immediately respond. Okay, so that is why they want to pick up the best people who can give the best in the limited time. Okay, within the limited resources. Why limited resources? Only 2 pages. Limited resource, okay, na? If 10খন পেজ দিলে তো এইটো কোৱেশ্চনৰ মানুহে 10 এছে লিখি দিব পাৰিব। But limited space ত আপুনি কিমান best content দিব পাৰে with limited resource, limited space, within limited time, you are getting tested there. And that is where your personality is also coming as a major factor, whether you will perform well or not. Are you getting it? You know, এইবোৰ factors আমি পাহৰি যাওঁ, আমি অকল পঢ়ি থাকো লক্ষ্মীকান্ত, বিপিন চন্দ্ৰ, or maybe Spectrum Publication, or CSCB Smart Book, একো লাভ নাই পঢ়ি পেলাই। মানে পঢ়িব লাগিব NCERTs, পঢ়িব লাগিব, but to gain up the knowledge or frame the foundation, but unless and until you do the practice, you cannot clear this exam. That is the truth, and I've already asked you to select what? Truth over convenience yesterday. Okay, do not go for conveniences, select the truths, the bitter facts or the truths that you need to focus upon and evolve through the manner of practice. Are you getting it? And that we'll do it during our classes. So it is a very easy question, but easy to hoy. But যদি আপনি ইয়াত 15 মিনিট লগাই দিয়ে, will it help you to clear this exam? No. The challenge is to write within 7 minutes and within those 2 limited pages. ঠিক আছে? So that is a challenge. Okay, now let me check once. Everyone take out a page. I would just want to check. Write down this question in 7 minutes. Okay? Write down this question. Let's check where you are standing right now. How many points you can write? And please write within 2 pages. Okay, যদি আপোনালোকৰ A4 sheet or size নহয়, তাতকে যদি বেছি ডাঙৰ হয়, then use 1.5 page. Okay, যদি A4 size or same size হয়, then you can use 2 pages. There you can use 2.5 pages. Okay, for you can use 2.5 pages because that is smaller than A4 size. All right, so I'll tell you start. It's 6:30. Okay, I'm giving you time till 6:37. Everyone has to write. We already discussed the points. Okay, I'm just giving you 7 minutes. I just want to check how much you can write in this 7 minutes. Time starts now. Please write third question. Please start writing. And we'll start after 7 minutes. You don't have to write a question, just write the answer. The question is in front of you. $150 words, 7 minutes.
during that exam এই রাষ্ট্র তত কোশ্চেন নয় না প্রত্যেকটা কোশ্চেন উইল গেট দিস রাশ তো এইটো স্টেজত হাফ অফ আনসার হাফ নহয় এটা পার্টৰ হাফ লিখিছে আপোনালোকে ম্যাক্সিমাম অফ ইউ and this is the situation with maximum demand students who overcome কৰিছো at the same time I am in touch with more than 1000 students. Next 90% of the students are in this situation only. Even maximum of them who wrote the mains this year, 70% face this challenge. So market actual competition asedan nai. Competition lies with only 20 to 30% of the candidates, not beyond that. Adha mano to 80 stage ore ase. And they will never improve also because of lethargy, because of lack of practice, whatever reasons you want to give, you can give. Okay, but if you practice and if you successfully evolve in this particular phenomenon, do you think you can clear this exam in a single attempt? You can. Definitely you can. But hey, hard work, hey, effort, hey, dedication, lagibo. Without that, and I am again telling you, एक question अगर आपने एक पढ़िबो ना लगे extra. If you are telling me, like Deepasu is telling me that she doesn't know this question, there is nothing to know about it. You already all they can over discuss points here, but superficially discuss obviously notes email about the thing. You mande prasna. Okay, but the point here is that she has written 4 points positive effects. Like in the but second part will line will get marks only out of 5. Suppose you get 3 out of 10. Next part will likha time no. So 5 marks to you have left automatically. So this is the challenge and this is where you need to evolve. और हेतु कारणे daily answer राइटिंग कोई बोले এটা হলো লিখিবো দিব answer. Space limit and time limit and word limit considering all the 3 factors.
So the smart book is in the last step.
Okay, can you, I'm just addressing the online students. Are you able to hear my voice clearly? Are you able to hear my voice clearly? Please just let me know. Someone please comment. CSP mail to like the question you're looking at, login for line.
So it is login line.
Yes, also.
So not the couple line.
Okay, thank you for the response. We'll proceed now. There was a slight disruption in the technical manner. So just give me 1 minute. I'm just taking out the question paper. So I hope you have realized the basic challenge. So we'll now proceed, okay, with the other points, other questions. Okay, someone has asked me like points are good, but how much percentage of these points can put on paper practically? See, again, that depends on your speed, that depends on how much time you're taking to think on the during that limited time period. Okay, so it all depends on that. There is no hard and fast that you have to write 10 points or you have to write 20 points. You can, that is again at that personal level, depending upon your speed, depending upon how much you can think.
असं येतं.
But this is password. Change the email. Password also. Hold on a second. Okay, so the next question is till the time we open it, I am just saying it. Okay, you can all hear. Use of various social media has become extremely popular in the present era. Explain how its misuse may be a threat to the national security of India, and also how new legislation can help in tackling these issues. The next question that came is, again, it is having a distribution of 5 plus 5 marks. Okay, 5 plus 5. So there are different parts of the question. Like first part is talking about use of various social media has become extremely popular in the present era. Okay, so there is a statement. Okay, like various social media has become extremely popular in the present era. That is a statement. After that statement, the question is talking about explain how its misuse may be a threat to the national security of India. Okay, that is a question part, that how it can be misused for the security of India, and also how new legislations can help in tackling these issues. So legislations and threat of security by misuse of social media. Okay, and the statement talks about extremely social media has become extremely popular in the present era. Getting it? So now, how do you deal this kind of questions?
So we can deal with it. First, we can, give examples of military personnel being hijacked by foreign agents, and then we can give the example of, how social media promotes propaganda. And you can see in 2016, the U.S. elections were severely, impacted by false Russian, FSB propaganda, which influenced the U.S. elections in 2016.
But you have to limit your point. There is only one point. Okay, you have to limit down your point. You have to narrow down your point. There is only one point that you can write. Okay,
When
and
it comes to legislation,
yes,
as I'm a law student, when it comes to legislation being used in antitrust, proceedings in the US, Google's been penalized, and Facebook and Apple's been penalized in the US. Misuse of tech.
point is accepted. Okay, but that is only one point. All right. So okay, so when we are talking about social media has become extremely popular in the present era. For example, if I give you a different statement, for example, MSME is the backbone of India's economy. Okay, discuss the challenges and the various government steps that have been taken forward. Now, when you get this kind of questions in the statement format, first of all, you have to address that statement in the introduction itself to fetch 1 or 2 months extra. Okay, for example, use of social media, what I wrote is that committee recommendation, it didn't come in my mind. So just to highlight the statement, what I wrote was the platform of social media getting promoted more after the schemes adopted like Jan Dhan Yojana. Okay, then access of direct benefit transfer. Okay, introduction of BharatNet project through National Optical Fiber Network. The number of users of internet in India has increased in the last 2 decades. That is what the introduction I wrote. Similar no pare, but that is something what I wrote. To address that why social media has become extremely popular. Then I wrote example, okay, during the wave of Narendra Modi's election in 2014, there was seen a prominent use of social media, and that was the actual scene. Yes, that was one example I wrote, and I wrote one more example. Okay, and that is how I highlight. For example, MSME is the backbone of India's economy. If that is a statement given, how I will address that statement? MSME, backbone of India's economy. When we can consider MSME as backbone? If it is providing some inputs to export sector, it is providing some inputs to employment generation, if it is providing some inputs to income generation, or if it is fostering inclusive growth, for example. Okay, then we can consider, okay, then it is a part of the, and actually in actual sense, MSME is contributing to around 40% of the employment generation in a country, whether in the organized sector or in the unorganized sector. So by giving 2-3 examples, we can highlight or we can address the statement. It is very important. Many people will not address this statement. They will simply directly go and start writing the various misuses or the problems for national security of India. Okay, but you will not do that. You will first try to highlight the statement, address the statement first, just in 2 or 3 lines with 2 examples. You will get 1 mark extra because of this. And 1 mark, if you get extra in 20 questions, you are getting 20 marks more. And in 5 papers, you are getting 20 to 500 marks more just to write or just to for addressing the question or writing the introduction. Are you getting it? You might think 1 marks only in 1 question, but you calculate overall for all the 5 papers. You are getting 100 marks more only because of writing a unique introduction or just because of addressing the statement. Because otherwise the misuses will be written by everyone. You'll get the average marks if you're writing all the points. But special uniqueness will come in your introduction itself. That is why your introduction is very, very important. Because even for the evaluator will always start reading your answer from the introduction itself. And rest of the body of the part, they may just skim through it. Or they will just see the important keywords, what they can figure it out. Because they'll not give that amount of time to go through word by word or line by line. Okay, then you can start writing, yes.
So, for such a broad topic like social media, if we want to introduce, like after the introduction, we write our points, and if we want to introduce the government's role, for example, the IT reforms, or we want to include something like when we want a constructive form of writing, so how do we introduce that? Because
IT reforms, I wrote in the second part of the question. Because it is talking about, because there, yes.
So how do we start, like, for example, we start writing about the introduction, about what role social media.
So introduction, you have to highlight the statement. What is the statement saying? Use of various social media has become extremely popular in the present era. So shall we write IT reforms there, highlighting the statement? Okay.
How do we introduce it? Like, for example, sir, for the previous answer, while I just wrote down the points, there was a repetitiveness now that I read the whole thing. Because I mentioned deforestation.
That will happen. That is also a challenge.
Displacement, also
Yes.
change of natural course of the stream, as well as encouraging man-made calamity. Now when I see the points, it almost it's a repetitive.
Repetitive points. That will also happen while writing your answers in the exam. And you cannot afford to do that. If you're repeating the same point in different formats, okay, it will not fetch you more marks. Okay, so your points have to be different. All right. So that is something. Officer Didier, all right. So that has to, and IT reforms definitely, because there were also amendments in the IT Act of India. Okay, there were amendments in the few sections to look after privacy rights. Okay, to look after the privacy rights of the citizens of a country. All right. So I wrote here. He talked about the defense sector where through social media there can be misuses. There are so many points. For example, recruitment in the terrorist outfits. But I gave an example, ISIS recruiting people from Kerala and Karnataka. There were these points coming up in so many newspapers when the ISIS issue was going on. I even, again, see, the question talks about national security of India. Now, what do we understand by national security of India? Is it only because of external threats? It is also because of internal threats. Rise of fake news. Okay, increase in the amount of fake news can also lead to what? Hatredness within the society. Okay, which is being seen normally in our present context. I even wrote the example of what? The Karbi Anglong issue. Because this paper is for Assam, where Neil and Abhijit, I think I didn't write the names because I could not recall the names, but I wrote that incident as an example that how fake news gives rise to hatredness among communities, which is a part of national security threat. Because hatredness within communities will lead to what? Separatist movements, regionalism movements, okay? And that will lead to internal security issues in our country, and which is a major problem. Internal security is a major problem in our country, and which is seen. For example, Naxalism, if we see, okay, and with the help of social media, you are also trying to portray various forms of ideologies and trying to promote what? Hatredness within various communities on the lines of community, on the lines of caste, on the line of religion, or on the line of class divisions. Okay, you can even write that particular point. Then, third point you can write about what? I gave the example of Aadhaar. Okay, I wrote that because of use of social media and through social media, what you are doing, Aadhaar, one point I wrote, I also wrote the misuse of what? The rise of consumerism in Indian society, okay, or why that is happening? Because the social media is controlling your buying needs right now, okay, and that is how it is alienating the people from the society. For example, if you are searching a product in the social media, immediately for next 20 days, various products on that particular product will be highlighting as a pop-up advertisement, whatever website you are opening up. That is controlling your buying needs. Okay, and that is how individuals are getting alienated from themselves. And when individuals are getting alienated, they feel exploited. And that is also a threat to internal security in a country. Then Aadhaar has misutilized all the data. Aadhaar has not misutilized. A company called Airtel, they had misutilized the data of Aadhaar and they had diverted the fund by creating ghost beneficiaries in Rajasthan. And many people do not know that even Airtel's service was suspended for 1 month in Rajasthan in 2018. Loss of privacy, which is also considered as a fundamental, which should be considered as a fundamental right as per Supreme Court's verdict. Okay, this is also creating a threat. Then we have definitely all the hacking, okay, of examples. You can give the example, for example, Narendra Modi's Twitter account was hacked, the Prime Minister of a country. For example, Minister of Home Affairs website was hacked. Okay, and if this can be done through hacking, you can write an example. For example, in future, if through hacking, you can even launch a satellite or misuse the launch of satellite or misuse the launch of a missile, which can be operated by sitting outside the country. That is an external threat. Okay, so all these things can be guided by social media. Through social media, you can even like misutilize the youth's of a particular nation or of a particular society by misguiding them. Okay, bully of females. Okay, sexual harassment, which is also part of national security threat, because women are a part of the demographic dividend. Okay, if they are not able to promote productively to the GDP growth, it is also a threat to the nation's economy. Okay, यहाँ पे national security threat is not only it is not only meaning about the defense security. If you are not economically sound, your security can also get hampered. Okay, so you can write 5-6 points easily in this particular question. And what are the new legislations? Obviously, you can talk about data protection bill, which was introduced, the IT reforms that you can talk about, right to privacy, Supreme Court verdict you can talk about here. Okay, then various programs of ethical hacking that the government has been trying to introduce, because ethical hacking is very much essential, okay, to control the misuse of the hacking perspective. So training programs, workshops being conducted under Niti Aayog in various school levels to promote the concept of ethical hacking. All these steps have been taken by the government, not only in the form of legislations, okay, but also in the form of various schemes and policies. That also you can definitely add in this particular question. And that is how you approach this question. All right. So after that, the next question that the paper is talking about in COP26. Now again, see how, in fact, we had discussed this in the environment class. COP26, Pancha Amrit, okay, or Paris Climate Agreement, INDCs, 2015, COP21. Okay, so the question came because this is triggered from current affairs directly, and that is why I always tell you that questions predictability is very, very easy if you are following the current affairs on a regular basis. Okay, for example, next question is on COP26, which was held in November at Glasgow, UK. India had committed to achieve the target of net zero emission by 2070. What are the implications of the commitment discussed? Suppose, let us assume we do not know anything about this particular question. Let us assume that. Suppose we do not know, okay, question में लिखा है कि India is committed to achieve the target of net zero emission by 2070. Okay, and what are the implications of this commitment? क्या हो सकता है implications? Discuss बोला है. Okay, tell me. What are the implications of this commitment? Net zero emission by 2070. What are the points that is coming in your mind? This question is relating to which part of the syllabus? At least uttar to pata hona padega. And one thing I'll tell you, you should be very crystal clear with the syllabus ka har ek word. Each and every word you should be remembering by heart. I can also take a test just to ask you to write down the syllabus of GS1 to GS5. It is important not only for mains but also for prelims. Environment conservation, environment impact assessment, okay, international relations, all is part of your syllabus of GS2, GS3. And this question is coming from sustainable development and environment conservation. Because when the question is talking about net zero emission of what? Carbon. But for that, you need to know the background of it. Okay, and India, I wrote the introduction like this, India started to reduce its carbon emission with more commitment right from COP21, 2015 Paris Climate Agreement under United Nations Federation Conference on Climate Change. That is the first step. So evaluator ko pata chal gaya, okay, the student candidate knows about the background. Okay, India is also trying to, I don't exactly remember what I wrote, but I wrote this point that India is also trying to work upon this field by trying to implement the Sustainable Development Goals under United Nations Development Program, which is having 17 goals and 169 targets in the time duration from 2015 to 2030. Getting it? Introduction is over. You know these things. When we'll study environment, we'll talk about Sustainable Development Goals. But you need to apply those knowledge while writing this answer or the introduction. Okay, so in COP26, then I wrote in COP26 held in Glasgow, UK, trying to pick up the points from the question itself and which also you need to know. India targeted the very aspirational target of net zero emission by 2070 in the form of Pancha Amrit, because India has set 5 what targets, and India has called it as Panchamrit. Okay, where India wants to take carbon emission to net zero level. As for example, recently Majuli district was announced as carbon neutral district in entire country. I even wrote that. That is not being asked, but that is showcasing your knowledge, because Majuli is what? Net zero emission. The carbon that is producing, it is also absorbing it. Net zero emission mane ki? It is not that carbon emission zero. No. Carbon emission you are doing, but at the same time you are also absorbing the carbon. So you are not letting global warming to take place. Okay. So I wrote the example of Majuli district because it was, I think 2018 or 17, it was declared as a carbon neutral district. Okay. So after that, then the question talks about, so I have just addressed the line, but it is only 10 mark question. I have used 30-40 words to write an introduction. Then what are the implications of the commitment discussed? Now you can minimum write 6 to 7 points about the implications. Now what are the implications? Because if India wants to achieve net zero emission, first of all, India has to, what? India's investment in renewable energy sources have to increase. Yes, in order to meet this target. But India has been facing a challenge while trying to meet the target of sustainable development goals, because India का target क्या था as per Paris Climate Agreement? Implications पूछा है. India का target क्या था? 175 gigawatts of energy through non-renewable energy source. But how much India has been able to achieve till 2022? Not even half of it. 100 gigawatt through solar power, because of which India has launched International Solar Alliance program. Okay, headquartered in Gurugram, between the countries, in partnership with all the countries which are located between the topics, topic of Cancer and topic of Capricorn. Information pai jam classroom. We can utilize those. Implications ki hobo? India investment on research and development has to increase. Okay, because renewable energy source is not accessible to all, but coal everyone can access, kerosene everyone can access. Yes or no? Government subsidy is also there. But is it accessible? Is solar plate accessible to everyone? Is electric vehicle accessible to everyone? It is very expensive in the market. Solar panels, cost of production per unit of 1 unit of energy, electricity, is not comparable with the cost of production of electricity through the grid connections like your hydroelectricity project or thermal plants that we have in various parts of our state, also in the country. It is very cheap in nature, but those are producing what? Carbon. So at the same time, India's implication will also depend on what? How much it is trying to emphasize on the Kampa fund, compensation for afforestation and management of forest. Because India is trying to promote more and more what? Afforestation. Because through that, India is also a target of increasing the carbon sink. And carbon sink mane ki? Trees release what? Oxygen and absorb what? Carbon. So the more you will cut down trees, the more the capacity of absorbing carbon will reduce. But India wants to improve the carbon sink. Carbon sink mane ki? Jo carbon deposit of absorb mane gos-gosoli, trees, forest. So India has the implication will only be fruitful only if India is focusing on Kampa fund and green economy. So economy, international relations for him, environment for him, green economy. What is the concept of green economy? Okay, Hebu describe no lage. You just use the keywords, bas, sufficient. Green economy ki hai likhibo na lage. Getting it? India's focus on, you can specify and show your knowledge. Goal number 7, goal number 8, goal number 12 and 13, along with 14, 15 of sustainable development goals, where India is trying to promote sustainable urbanization, sustainable production, okay, sustainable uses of resources, special focus on renewable energy resources, okay, but at the same time, majority of the population of a country are below poverty line who cannot afford these sustainable or renewable energy sources. So government's subsidy bills may increase if government wants to achieve this target. So government's fiscal deficit will also increase. Prothom answer to likhise etu concept ako yad likhim. Because government has demand subsidy, it is suppose electric vehicle. Government is jodi kalipa koi de petrol diesel vehicles stop. Then everyone has to buy electric vehicles. Can everyone buy electric vehicles? No. It is not affordable, it is not accessible, it is not available also. So there is no inclusive growth happening. So implication is non-inclusive growth in the country, promoting more inequality within the society. Okay, affecting the what? Communication facilities of the country at the same time. India's development sector, but again, positive implication of Kilikim, India's manufacturing sector can get boosted up because of new technology transfer from developed nations and boosting up the manufacturing of what? Renewable energy sources like solar panels. I mean, India pona operating. Electric vehicles, FAME project it. You can write that. Faster adoption of manufacturing of electric vehicles in India, FAME. Through which India is trying to promote what? Manufacturing of electric vehicles, like Tesla is doing it outside. Okay, similar vehicle, I think one has been manufactured by Mahindra also, which can boost up the manufacturing sector, more and more sale. India can also take up the export of electric vehicles to other states, through which new job opportunities will open up. Ebu sob implication hoy. So ebu point minor ahi ase discuss kori asu karone, and you can point by point you can write down 7-8 points sufficient. Positive, and you can divide positive and negative. Because yet I think what are the implications of the commitment, negative or positive khuda nahi. You will get more marks if you can write both negative implication as well as positive implication. That will be a more matured answer. But conclusion should be a proper positive conclusion. That India needs to fulfill this target in a mission mode project, in a mission mode manner, because as per the principle enshrined in a constitution, right to dignified life as highlighted in Article 21 is not possible without right to proper environment. Khatam. वहाँ पे example दो, negative में you can give examples like most polluted city of the world, Delhi. Okay, air quality is damaging, is deteriorating in a country because of what? So many reasons we already know. We'll discuss in the environment classes. So you can even write those examples, because India's development should focus on progress, and at the same time it should be sustainable in nature. Only then we can achieve the net zero emission. We can also write the challenges, because India's contribution of GDP to research and development in the renewable sector is very less. Only 2% of GDP. So India needs to increase its GDP contribution also to R&D. Okay, India should also promote the startup culture in the renewable sector. Getting it? So that is how you write the answer from a multi-dimensional angle. Though this is an environment question, but it is not required to write only environment-related topics here. Implications. You can even write economic implications. You can even write social implications in this particular question, because nowhere they have mentioned that write only the environmental implications of this commitment. Has they mentioned specifically in the question? No. But many people will write only environmental implications, for example. Okay, and if you write what is the actual, see how your mind works. Upar se already there's a rush in the mind. So you know that this commitment is for environment, climate change, global warming. So this topic is related to environment. So when you see these implications of the commitment, you will relate to environment. Positive, you will write positive. Air quality will improve. Yes or no? Maximum people will write from that perspective. Okay, that air quality will improve, health will improve. Okay, pollution will go down. Okay, so like that 4 or 5 points they will write and they will complete the answer. If you do that, you will get less marks. Are you able to understand? Okay, see, questions are same for everyone. Knowledge is also same, but how much you can interrelate, how much you can make your answer multidimensional, how much you can produce a uniqueness in your answer will determine whether you can get a top rank or not. And this can only come when you are interrelating various topics within the syllabus. Many people in APSC right now, they are complaining in various groups that this time questions are out of syllabus. No. Where do you find questions out of syllabus? Many people are doing it right now. They are complaining, they are writing to APSC that questions are out of syllabus. But I don't find a single question out of syllabus. Everything is coming from the syllabus and will definitely come from within the syllabus only. So you need not worry on that particular factor. Next question, if we try to see, okay, for example, a very, very simple question. Discuss analytically the hydrometeorological, geological, biological, technological hazards in the context of Assam. Ekdam simple question. discuss analytically the hydrometeorological, geological, biological, technological hazards in the context of ASAM. Now, when I teach disaster in the class, I had recently taught also disaster in the class before the mains. I even dictated the definition of hazard, the definition of disaster, and so on. So if someone can write the definition of hazard itself in the introduction, which I did, we'll definitely get 1 mark extra, but maximum we will not define what is hazard. Yes or no? How many of you will write the definition of hazard here? That how hazard is different from disaster? Definition of hazard মই লিখাইছিলো ক্লাছত okay dictation কৰিছিলো hazard or definition to you can immediately write and that is the introduction bas khatam very simple definition nothing to worry আৰু মুখস্থ কৰিব নালাগে এবাৰ ক্লাছত যদি বুজি লৈ যায় ঘৰত আৰু পঢ়িব নালাগে next time revision কৰিব লাগে it will be there in your mind for sure getting it so yaad koise then there are various types of hazards so for example discuss analytically koise yaad please see the word discuss analytically hydrometeorological, geological, biological, technological hazards in the context of ASAM. Now, address the context of hydrometeorological hazards in the context of ASAM. What is hydrometeorological hazard? What is hydrometeorological hazard? Tell me. What is hydro? Water. So, water-related hazards ki ase? Flood, yes. Landslide will not come here. Landslide will come in geological. Next word to geological. Okay. Hydrometeorological, definitely flood will come. Cloudburst will can yes, okay. Cloudburst also you can write. But what I wrote, you know, hydrometeorological hazard.
So hazardous emissions from factories to water.
Due to water, polluted water. Yes, definitely. You can write that point also. Polluting the river water. Okay. That also you can write declaring Ganga as a living person. Okay, for example, why that is being promoted, why Ganga is now given the living, because if you pollute Ganga, you will be charged under IPC section. Jitna aap ek human being ke agar offense karte ho, so if you are offending the Ganga, because Ganga is now treated as a human being, the same section should be also imposed upon you. Okay, but hydrological hazard is something what? It is not disaster. Hazard can lead to disaster. Okay. So hydrometeorological hazard I wrote the first point, irregular rainfall and more dependence on monsoon rainfall in agricultural sector. I wrote that point. Yes, that is leading to hydrometeorological hazard. Why? Because in our country, 2/3 of the land is not having irrigation facilities, which is only determined under natural rainfall for irrigation purpose. And Assam to aru besi bad condition. Okay, and now because of El Nino and La Nina and high dependence on monsoon rainfall and irregularity of rainfall, we are facing what? Famine, which is also hazard because of hydrometeorological hazard, because of dependence on irregular rainfalls. Second, I wrote about pollution of water. Third, I wrote about floods. Okay, khatam. Then proceeding to geological, earthquake, landslides. Okay, all these things you can write. Very simple. Then biological. All these virus, flus, COVID-19. This is also in context for Assam you can write. Okay, then technological hazard. I even wrote there as a introduction of fourth industrial revolution. Because people are not having that access. So there will be a hazard for people who are not getting the access to those new form of technologies. At the same time, jiman amar agotot likhisilu, jeneke fake news, privacy loss, data breach, okay, misuse of identities, okay, then deviation of funds, jeneke Airtel did it, pension poisa ulai pelai teneke deviate korile by creating what ghost beneficiary list. Aadhaar data board misuse korile, leak hoi gosile data. So these are all different types of hazards. You can simply write, and then conclusion the way forward, government should take necessary steps. Okay, to ... You can write a positive context to address it. Very simple answer. Okay, See, the questions are coming like this. Iman simple, or it will also come in this manner in the upcoming time period also. Because even if you see the evolution of pattern of questions in UPSC mains, you will see that mains of specifically of general specific questions, specific hai, where you can interrelate and where you have a scope of interrelating at a huge level. All right. Next question, ekdam simple question. Give the reasons for increase of educated unemployment in India. What may be the short-term and long-term measures to reduce the problem? It answer to, I remember in 2 pages I wrote around 15 points. Iman points is employment. So simple topic. I wrote around 15 points in this question. But I divided short-term and long-term in that manner. But bottom 5 plus 5 first you have to write the reasons for increase of educated unemployment in India. Tell me, what will you write in the introduction? Ekdom simple, unemployment. It will class 10 or essay prepare to prepare unemployment. So simple topic. But what will you write within that limited resources? Tell me. Give the reasons for increase of educated unemployment in India. Yet could you say reasons for educated unemployment? Everyone is thinking from this perspective. Why don't you think from a different perspective? Lack of skill, lack of जो भी है, ये तो सब लिखेगा ना? Yeah.
So stagnancy in mobility, like there are certain positions which are very stagnant, which leads to long vacancy and then leads to educated unemployment.
Can be written.
Then also saw if we look it from the other way, so a lot of educational institutes which verify, non-verify also lead to a lot of educated students with certification, which further not qualify for certain things.
Sir, job seeker mentality rather than job availability.
Okay. Aru? What are you all? Who are you all?
Job seeker.
Who are you all? You all are educated unemployed. Yes or no? You all are educated unemployed. What this phenomena is called as frictional unemployment. Yes? Do you agree? Because when we study unemployment, there are various types of unemployment. And one of them is frictional unemployment. That means you are a part of the labor force. You all are part of the labor force, but you are right now not working anywhere because you have taken a break for upliftment. Okay? So frictional unemployment is a major factor for rise of educated unemployment in India. I introduced with that line. I am very sure no one will like this, but can anyone consider this to be a wrong statement? Can you say it? No. My introduction was like this. Frictional unemployment is a major reason behind educated unemployment in India, along with many other reasons as discussed here. So I wanted to show off that I know about frictional unemployment, which is also a major reason for rise of educated unemployment in India. Okay. Then, India, from the first 5-year plan, started with capital intensive sector rather than labor intensive sector. Because of which, and that was one point. Second point you can write. Because reasons for educated unemployment. Policy failure. That is the point I am trying to tell you. India is highly populated. Labor intensive sector, China to promote China to employment problem unemployment. Everyone is job creator there, maximum, rather than job seeker. Why? Because the government focus on the labor intensive sectors. But from our first time, আমি যেটা first আমরা যেটা NCERT এই কারণে NCERT পঢ়িব কিয় লাগে এখন ক্লাস 11 এর ইন্ডিয়ান ইকোনমি ডেভেলপমেন্ট বুলি এখন NCERT আছে আৰু NCERT কেনে পঢ়িব লাগে মই দেখাম মানডে আপোনালোকক 3 ঘণ্টা উইল ফিনিশ দ্য এন্টায়াৰ বুক with notes in the class itself. It's now 3 ঘণ্টা class. So, because it is written there in the Indian economy NCERT also that India focus more on the capital intensive. Now, capital intensive sector মানে কি? তাত বহুত বেছি ডাঙৰ মেচিনছ লাগিব, ডাঙৰ পইচা লাগিব ইনভেষ্টমেন্ট কৰিবলৈ। কিমান মানুহৰ তাত আছে আৰু সেই মেচিনবোৰ কাম কৰিবলৈ কি লাগিব স্কিল লাগিব। But the irony in Indian development or planning was that India launched the first self-employment program when India was celebrating Golden Jubilee 1997 Swarojgar Gram ki asil naam to what was the name of the scheme Pradhan Mantri Gram Swarojgar Yojana Gram mane rural Swarojgar mane self-employment under which for a very first time under the scheme of Ajivika vocational education was discussed in India. Along with that, a lot of other policies like red tapeism, okay, not opening up the economy, okay, bureaucratic hurdles, also stop many many educated citizens of the country to create or generate jobs in the society. High population is also a factor for unemployment in a country, and non-acceptance in the manner of developing a cosmopolitan society is also a major reason why there is a high amount of educated unemployment in a country. For example, there can be educated persons from lower caste people, but they are not given employment in many of the organizations because of their caste factor. So cosmopolitan society in nohar karano amar educated are then gap between the industry's need and the curriculum courses etu point sobi likhibo lack of skill and high amount of scam in all the skill development programs like National Skill Development Mission, National Education NSQF skill quality framework to asile hetu lot of scams and corruption and leakages of money. Okay, at the same time I wrote one more point, that is the cultural baggage lying on many educated female working force who is also part of the labor force, but they're not allowed to work. Their females are, because the irony is that females' participation in higher education is increasing, but their participation in labor force is decreasing. Why? Because of the cultural baggage that they carry, because of the patriarchal mindset society. Or because of the biological factors also, because of the society's mindset in terms of child rearing, which is even highlighted in the Maternity Benefit Act, because the Maternity Benefit Act not suti to okol somahor suti to okol mohilak dia hoise deutak jonok nidia no, the father doesn't get the leave. That means legally you are saying that child rearing is the primary job of the mother, not of the father. So after the delivery of the child, many females are seen to discontinue with their jobs. Even after marriage, many families do not allow their daughter-in-laws to work outside. Various other reasons like safety reasons, sexual harassment cases going up, okay, are also factors of rise of what? Educated unemployment in India. But why? What? Is it okay? Can we write this point? Are you convinced? Tell me yes or no. So do you think only lack of skill or lack of what we are saying, 2-3 points, will fetch you more marks? Or when you write from a multi-dimensional angle, where we have talking about cultural baggage, patriarchal society of Maisota, okay, frictional, because these are the various factors. Or lack of skill, lack of policy to assay, definitely. Or red tapeism, bureaucratic hurdles to assay. Social discrimination is also a factor, because of which there is high amount of educated unemployment in India. Yes or no? So আমি যদি 5টা পয়েন্ট লিখো ইয়াত, so all are different points from different dimensions. You'll get 4 out of 5 if you write this. আৰু এটা পয়েন্টত কিন্তু সাব পয়েন্টস তিনটা সাইডে সোমাই আছে। লেখ আপুনি যদি তিনটা সাইডে পয়েন্ট কৰিছে লেখ স্কিল কিবা কিবি, lack of gap between industries needs and curriculum to provide kori ase. Okay, that you can highlight with, for example, I wrote an example in that point that even in, because I personally, hetu more personal example, because I am an electronics engineer. Ami jeta engineering porishilo Assam Engineering College, we are being taught about the processors, microchips of 1980s. And right now in 21st century, in the third decade of 21st century, we are talking about artificial intelligence, fourth industrial revolution, where this 1980s processors has nothing to do. So the industries do not want the knowledge of those processors. They want the engineering curricula. You have to do certain other courses to fill up that gap. So why don't you launch in the curriculum itself? Getting it? So that is also a very important part. So that is the gap between the industry's need, and industry's needs are always evolving and changing with time. But is our curriculum changing with time or with the demand of the industries? No. So there is always this gap. That is also important part. Why? And then lack of soft skills. Definitely you have to write. Like, for example, there I wrote the example of many PhD holders applying for 4th grade jobs in Madhya Pradesh. There was this news recently 2 years back. For eto amar yato hoy apuni PhD korise, master degree korise, but you are applying for clerical jobs in government sectors. Why you are doing it? You developed society hole eto mane bahut lajor kotha. You are master degree PhD holder mane ki? You are having a higher amount of knowledge. You are not supposed to do a clerical job. So that is like what? Wastage of the human resource. Okay, so those things you can write. So my point that I'm trying to highlight right now is that when can we write about cultural baggage in this or fictional unemployment? Starting at least because you are thinking. You have to think. You have to interrelate. Cultural baggage to unemployment Indian society পঢ়িম. Because Indian society is a woman topic. Role of women, challenges that they face. Have you seen the syllabus? Indian society GS 1 topic. A point but it to GS 3. My question is, but it has to be relevant. You cannot simply write just for the sake of writing. You have to write relevant. You have to address the questions properly. So that is what my point I'm trying to tell you. So so you have to keep your mind open up. I mean, যদি পলিটি পঢ়ি আছো আপুনি এটো জিওগ্ৰাফিৰ লগত ৰিলেট কৰিব পাৰিব লাগিব, ইকনমিৰ লগত ৰিলেট কৰিব পাৰিব লাগিব, আপুনি সোসাইটি প্ৰবলেমছ লগত ৰিলেট কৰিব পাৰিব লাগিব, ওমেনৰ প্ৰবলেম ৰিলেট কৰিব পাৰিব লাগিব। এন্ড দ্যাট মইতো কৈ থাকিম, বাট বা আমাৰ বেলেগ ফেকাল্টিজেও কৈ থাকিব, বাট unless and until you do it by yourself, ঘৰত গৈ পাহৰি যাব আৰু এক্সাম হলত নাহিব। So mains become very easy if you are doing this thinking process for next 6 months. Mains আগত একো পঢ়িবই নালাগে। Did I study after mains? Now see, I don't know what my result will be personally. But I'm expecting it clear, but I don't know. But I did not study even before the prelims or even before the mains. I was only teaching in the classes. Foundation batches were off, but I was taking the classes at staff college at Khanapara. Daily 7 hours. I was taking classes till 18th of this month. And my sister's marriage was also there on the first week of Feb. 28th, I was outside. I did not study, but points are there. I'm not boasting or something like that. Boast kora kotha no. Points, why the points are there? Because I'm thinking always. Because these things are revolving around 360 degree all the time. Because I have to take a class. I'm teaching at various levels. Right? So, hey, approach to apna lokeo develop kora in the next 6 to 8 months. If you are eating something, think. Jaji classot ki pohilo ba aji one news or ki pohilo. Okay, I thought I read a topic on suppose Ukraine-Russia crisis war. Now, how can I relate that war in 360 degree with various dimensions? Will I look only from international relations perspective? Can I also look from economic perspective? Can I also look from demographic perspective? Can I look from social change perspective? Can I look from migration issue as a perspective? Can I look from India's diaspora's perspective? Can I look from remittances perspective? Can I look security perspective to Thakibo definitely, right? Can I also look from the international relations overall perspective? Okay, so imanta perspective here editorial to nathakibo pare, but who is stopping you to think? Because when you will think, when you will start from Monday, the classes যেতিয়া আপোনালোকে এই চিন্তা চৰ্চা কৰা আৰম্ভ কৰিব, you will see mains will become very easy for you. আৰু এই 7 মিনিটত যেতিয়া এতিয়া পইণ্টছ আহা নাই, এতিয়া কিয় আপোনালোকে 7 মিনিটত আনসাৰ লিখিব পৰা নাই? আধা পেজ লিখিছে বা 3/4 of the page লিখিছে when you expect to write 2 pages. Why the points are not coming? Because you are not thinking. The answer lies there only. Mains will become very easy. And see, the questions are so simple. You don't even need a coaching for this. You don't need coaching for this, but you need guidance. If you want to crack the exam within a limited time period, within a short amount of time period. Getting it? Or enukwa ekko nohoy je 4টা attempt lage, 5টা attempt lage, 3টা attempt lage. No. Even I could not clear UPSC because of I did not know all these things. I thought Lakshmikant Poile hoy jabo clear exam, which maximum people think about. Yes or no? But if you start your preparation by knowing all these technicalities, which are hidden facts, which nobody talks about. Why I'm talking about? Because I need results. I need results because I have to run this institute. So I will definitely need results. And results will only come when I can assure you that this is the direction you follow. You be in this direction. And if you follow it, then only you come here. Otherwise, don't come here. If you are ready to follow this direction. Otherwise, you are free. You live in a democratic country and you can adopt your own directions or your own path. Are you getting it? But if you are coming here, you have to follow this. And I want regularity in like presence in the classes. Because if you miss one class, you'll miss many dimensions. Because my classes are very dynamic in nature, and I'm very sure you have realized it by now. If I will be teaching you polity, I will not be only teaching you polity. I will be teaching you various other dimensions also, how to relate in. I'll be talking about inclusive growth and polity. I'll be talking about demographic dividend polity. Every question why I say about. Eta question asile এটা আত্মনিৰ্ভৰ ভাৰত এইম আৰু মেইন পিলাৰ্স কৰিছে কিমান ক্লাছত ডিসকাস কৰিছো ঠিক আছে এটা কোৱেশ্চন আহিছিলে ওকে এটাটো কোৱেশ্চন আহিছিলে আমাৰ ইকোনমিক কি ইকোলজিক্যাল ভালনাৰেবিলিটি ওপৰত ৰাইট এটো কোৱেশ্চন আমি বহুত ডিটেইলছত ডিসকাস কৰিছিলো সো ৰাইট নাও উইল এন্ড হিয়াৰ ফৰ টুডে ঠিক আছে আমি কালি দিস ক্লাसेस are only to give you an idea to start the thinking process. This class is not to discuss each and every question. Questions would ami syllabus jetia start korim cover kora ami sob topics eneo cover korim class. Tomorrow we will be discussing about ethics paper also. All of ethics or approach ami bujibole chesta korim kali aru GS5 or GS2 or GS1 all of duta adi okol GS3 kali duta question ami sam or any questions you want me to discuss I can discuss. I will show you how to form the content even if you do not know anything on that particular question. Are you getting it? আমাক এক পঢ়ি পেলাই মুখস্থ কৰি যাবই নালাগে মানে পঢ়ি থাকিলে কি হয় you know like why I don't support মুখস্থ মানে learning by heart বহুতে এটো মানে ইনসাল্ট কৰে যে মুখস্থ কৰি এক্সাম পাস হৈছে but মুখস্থ কৰাটো is actually what an art which evolves naturally মুখস্থ মানে কি revisiting the same topic again and again then it will be in your mind yes or no so মই কি বহি পেলাই বিবেক দেৱৰ কমিটি মুখস্থ মাৰি আছো নেকি নাই মাৰা নহয় যোনটো আমি সৰু কালত কৰিছো I am revisiting to the same topic again and again that is why it is in my mind so that is what I refer to as mukhasta and you have to do that and you can only do that when you are minimizing your sources but jodi 10 খন কিতাপ মেলি থৈ দিয়ে টেবুলত so you cannot revisit the same topic again and again so apnar ekko point মনত নাথাকিব consolidation কিটো নহব and that I will show you on Monday how to promote a consolidation এখন NCERT পঢ়াটো কিয় important হয় because from there maximum content is evolving you can Indian economy class 11 NCERT হক geography হক Indian constitution at work হক class 11 এইখন NCERT পঢ়িবলে these are must এখন class 12 ৰ NCERT আছে promoting নামটো exactly মনত নাই but healthy democracy of India okay then political theories of class 12 NCERT very very important topics very very important books you should read geography human geography economic geography then physical India এইবোৰ পঢ়িবই লাগিব আৰু এইবোৰ আমি next 3 months 4 months ত পুটে কভাৰ কৰি দিম all these subjects geography polity economy environment science economy সব হৈ যাব from prelims perspective আকৌ ৰেছত prelims হৈ যাব তাছ আকৌ mains কাৰণে but prelims পঢ়াই থাকোঁ mains সোমাই থাকিব তাত it is not that prelims অকল facts পঢ়ি থাকিম যে President of India, President of Executive of India. They are called facts ke taki. No. We'll also try to understand from mains perspective also. Getting it? That what is the nature of federalism? How executive is a part of legislature and how it is not promoting a unique feature of separation of power theory under Article 50 of Directive Principles of State Policy of Indian Constitution. So you'll understand everything. At the same time, I mean, mukhosto kori. Mukhosto mane again, moi etu bohote koi je mukhosto kori pela exam pass kore. Okay, but I will always say mukhosto lagibo articles keta. Because he get a show off koribo lebo mains answer on. Or he get a mukhosto tetiya hobe when you are revisiting to the article again and again. It is not. I am not asking you to learn it by heart. Jonu foru kalat korisu. No, I don't mean mukhosto by that. Getting it? So I hope you have understood the approach. Okay. So we'll meet again tomorrow in the same time. Thank you everyone and take care. Good night. And let's promise that you will not waste time. Okay, in the upcoming time period. Those of you are, and I expect everyone to attend this year. Some of you have filled up the form for UPSC, and APSC form fill up will also come out very soon. By April and May, it is expected to come out. So, and by September, October, it is expected the prelims will occur. And I can guarantee prelims result, if you are sincerely preparing for it, you will clear the prelims. But mains you cannot clear if you are not evolving your answer writing. And that is why we are also starting with a separate answer writing, as I already told you yesterday, that we are launching a new innovative program. No one has launched this in Assam till now. Okay, I'm saying this in live. If anyone copies this idea from us, they can do it. But what we are going to launch right now is that for the second week of March, only for 200 students it will be available, because we are keeping a limit, that daily answer writing intensive program, where we will not give you any questions, but we will take answers from you. Daily basis, you can give us maximum 20 answers. And we'll evaluate within 72 hours and give you the feedbacks. Okay, because we want all of you to evolve in the answer writing practice. But the test series that we are promising you under the foundation batch, that is separate. That you will come here and write. And we'll give you the question papers, that will be also evaluated. But under this program, you will write, suppose you are studying economy, you can write any question on economy, taking from the past year, or you will get n number of questions in the internet. You can write any number of questions, but not beyond 20, because we are keeping the limit. 20 questions you can submit daily basis, okay? And we will charge you 2,500 rupees, that will be extra, excluding GST. Okay, and this will be applicable till your mains of this year. So till mains, that daily basis you can give us 20, and I am challenging you to write 20 answers daily. Only in 2,500 rupees plus GST for GS papers only, and which will be applicable till mains of both UPSC as well as APSC this year. And I am challenging you to give us 20 answers daily on a daily basis, and just see whether if you do it. But I am very sure that many people will fail to do it. Questions you can write anything, whatever you are studying. If you are studying polity, you can write questions on polity. If you are studying economics, you can start writing answers on economics also. Okay, this will be taken care of by me and also by Mayur Chaudhary, who is also a faculty of our institute from Delhi, who also has an experience of appearing in UPSC interview 2 times. So he will be also in personal touch with all of you to regularly in the basis of feedbacks. But that will only happen in the online mode. You'll have to scan the answers and then submit in a proper, in a format in the email, and you will get all the feedbacks in the email ID, in the email itself. Okay, and that will start from the very soon. You will get to know about it. So please start this answer writing practice. Mains will become very easy, and Monday onwards, anyways. And I give you I'll give you homework. You have the weekend ahead to complete Indian Constitution at Work and CRT, because on Monday I'll complete that book in the class itself. Alright, so I request all of you to read the book before coming to the class, Indian Constitution at Work, and that will make it very easy for all of you to understand. Thank you and good night. Take care. Bye-bye.